I'm excited to bring the first episode of Writer-Reader theme song coming soon, where I explore books through the lens of being a writer, but also an avid reader. Today I'm discussing Remains of the Day. This room's a little echoey because we don't have a couch yet. We've just moved to Athens, Greece. We have been in this apartment for a couple of months, so we're slowly furnishing it. It takes forever to get a couch, apparently. I'm very happy to be here in this neighborhood called Kypseli, which means roughly beehive. It is a very bustling, busy neighborhood that's in the center of Athens, but not too close to public transportation, maybe a 15-minute walk. So I get a lot of walking in. Tonight in this neighborhood, we're going to a festival for Veganuary, actually. It's a vegan event, and I think there's going to be bands, so that should be fun. I'm always interested in this too. How do people find these books? So how I found this book was, obviously it was published in 1990, the year I graduated high school. I read another of Kazuo Ishiguro's books, Never Let Me Go, and loved that one. So I thought, I want to read his classic. I've never seen the movie. Have you? The book takes place only in a few days through the point of view of a butler who goes out on a vacation of sorts, and he has time to reflect on his years of service and also, in his mind, what makes a good butler. He's very emotionally restrained, and you don't observe him showing a lot of emotion. So the book reflects on his life of service to what it turned out to be not a very good man. So the book is by Kazuo Ishiguro. He's a British author. He actually won the Booker Prize for Remains of the Day, and later in 2017 he won the Nobel Prize for Literature. So how did he write this particular book? He wrote it in 4 weeks. It was in collaboration with his wife that they decided to change up his process for this book because he, due to other books, was getting a lot of attention. They said together, okay, for 4 weeks, you're just going to focus on this book from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. And the only breaks, 1 hour for lunch, 2 hours for dinner, and then on Sundays. So this would be Monday through Saturday. They called it The Crash. I like that name. So during that time, no visitors, no phone, no mail. This was before email, but basically no interruptions. And fortunately for him, his wife handled the cooking and the cleaning, sort of like what I call housekeeping, things that you don't want to do that are unrelated to what you're passionate about. So he was hoping, as he puts it, I'd not only complete more work quantitatively, but reach a mental state in which my fictional world was more real to me than the actual one. I love that. So I love this part too, because I think as a writer, you can get really caught up in making your prose perfect as you're doing, early drafts. And here he said, I wrote freehand, not caring about the style or if something I wrote in the afternoon contradicted something I'd established earlier. The priority was simply to get the ideas surfacing and growing. Awful sentences, hideous dialogue, scenes that went nowhere. I let them remain and plowed on. I love that. I can relate to that because often, I'm sure other writers experience this, and have you? In your head, it's just saying, this scene is terrible. Like, what does this even mean? This is so boring. That's my phrase a lot. This is so boring. So I love that he also experienced this, but just kind of kept going because you have to keep going. So apparently I love this detail, his wife said he was really acting odd his first Sunday off because he was going outside looking at people and giggling. He went nuts, but he came back, so he's okay. I also want to note this because this is a question I often have. I tend to get sort of distracted by research, and basically by the process of researching, it creates sort of a procrastination from writing, and it's fascinating. I love researching, the time period, or my book is in the 90s, which I was there, but still I don't remember things like when did email start. But here for this book, he actually spent a lot of time researching before this so-called crash period. So he was ready and informed to write a butler in England in this time period before he sat down to write. So here's what he said that I like. The decision when to start the actual writing of a novel, to begin composing the story itself, always seems to me a crucial one. So the theme, I love theme. I link below where I took these quotes, but the theme of this novel, through this butler. I'm going to read you a quote from Kazuo Ishiguro on the theme. The reason I decided to write the character of a butler is because that provided me a key metaphor. I wanted to say something about the relationship of the small and ordinary person to political power. In some sort of way, I was suggesting there is something of the butler in most of us. We offer up our little contribution to some cause or organization or employer and hope for the best, that our contribution is something we can approve of. In my own novel, I am looking for those kinds of themes, of what can be sort of representative of what the sort of the larger question I'm exploring. His inspiration for Remains of the Day was Tom Waits' song, Ruby's Arms, as well as a film called The Conversation. This to me is such an important point because I think writing, of course, is not just inspired by reading other books, which is obviously a great way to be inspired and to learn the craft, but also by other art forms. All of this inspiration really makes me hungry. Today's food inspiration is Beyond Meatballs, and they're available in Greece too. Who knew? So good. And if you're concerned about processing, check out a comedy video I did on that. Also, I'm curious, what do you think about that crash process? Would you do that or could you do that? Is that something you've tried? I'm curious about it, but I'm also kind of afraid to shut off everything else. But if it's just for a limited period, it's almost like a retreat, so maybe it's possible. I'm gonna put the butler, the protagonist, on the therapist's couch. This is the part of the show where we're doing that for now. And I think the character needs this. This cow is on a farm in Lucerne, Switzerland. This farm was a former dairy and pig farm, and now it's been transformed into a sanctuary. And I'll link to this really cool organization that goes through this process. So last, I'm working on a book. Here's the current state of things. For now, the working title, The Universe is Silent, so we make noise, and I'm interested in that noise. So it's been a really fun process. So as part of this, I'm trying to imagine what my characters look like, and I have pretty good ideas, but you never underestimate the power of just seeing an image. So I guess in the past, you can go into books and look at photographs, but what I did is I used Canva and I generated some AI images. So I'm just going to show you one this week. I'll show you another week, but this is the fun-loving grandma. Some of the initial images, which I should have saved to show you, show her with cat ears, because I said I wanted, a grandma who wears cat sweaters. It's fun. Have you used AI at all in your writing? Hopefully not to write books. What are you struggling with? Let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching my first video.